Hi everyone, Bernard here. Hope you're all staying safe and well, and welcome to the Citizen channel. A City present today as we look back at the quarter-final of the Champions League. Manchester City 2, Borussia Dortmund 1. It's a shame, isn't it? They got the one goal, but say there you go. So we're going to have a look at that today. Lots to get through today, lots of stuff, lots of comments, lots of things to think about with that game last night. Well, of course, we'll have our usual match analysis, including Mr. Phil Banerjee's goal reports, player ratings, Mr. Bukowski's player ratings, my own ratings, and even Mr. Banerjee's ratings I'll stick on at the end as well. Just an interesting one actually that sort of raised my eyebrows, I must admit, but we'll have a look at that later. We'll have our quirky stats and the conclusions on Dortmund and City, of course, moving forward, what's going to happen with this. So please enjoy this match review. If you're new to the channel, please push that subscribe button. Tell your friends, if you're City fan friends, about this channel. They're fantastic. We've gone over 800 now. I think next target's 900. I'm not setting a date for it. I was so close. I mean, I was spot on with my 800 target, but I'm not going to take any chances with this. It's too what's the word? It's too nervy. It's nervy watching City. Never mind looking at subscribers to hit a certain target. So hey, onwards up to 900. Help me out, get me to that if you can. That'd be fantastic. And push that notification button if you enjoy. I try and inform, a little bit of entertainment along the way if I can, you know, make a little bit of the odd funny that some go over people's heads. Obviously at my age, some of the younger watchers don't understand, and I've been asked a couple of times, what do you mean by that? But there you go. I'm an old fogey now. I mean, we have our old little sayings, don't we? So anyway, let's get on to this, and please, if you check the playlist, check out my film and TV channel as well. It's on there. Do reviews on films and TV and information vlogs, etc. That's very interesting. Save you a bit. What a rest from football. Have a look over there. I do plenty of different stuff on there as well, so that'd be great. But if you're not worried about that, it doesn't matter. If you enjoy football, there's loads of football stuff and City stuff, obviously, specifically. And if you need any friends or followers, just check the links on screen. And I do check every 2-3 days and follow and friend everyone back on there. So if you're after new friends or followers, I post loads of stuff, of course, to do with football on Twitter and Facebook as well. And please, thumbs ups are great. Give us a thumb up or leave us a comment. Yeah, it'd be great. I've got my regulars doing comments. Every new guy leaving a comment's fantastic. On the match last night, or your views on City in general, just leave us your comments. That'd be fantastic. It's nice to get them. I try and answer everything as I can. Right, here we go. Let's have a look at this one. Right, the match. The officials, yeah, bit of consternation. A bit more on them later when I do my ref rating. The referee Ovidiu Hatagan from Romania. His linos were Octavian Sovra and Sebastian Gorgier. VAR was Marco Di Bello, he got involved into last night from Italy. Assistant was Paolo Valeri from Italy. And the fourth official was Istvan Kovacs from Romania. 5 changes to the Leicester game, yeah. Edison, Walker, Diaz, Stones, Cancelo, Rodri, Gundogan, Bernardo, Foden, Mahrez and De Bruyne. And the subs, yeah, we got the team bus on the subs bench, haven't we, for these? Stephen Trafford, Aki, Sterling, Jesus, Aguero, Zinchenko, Laporte, Torres, Mendy, Fernandinho and Garcia. Yeah, I got 10 correct, so I was quite happy with that. But as I said, my wild card was Zinchenko. I stuck him in, didn't I? But it wasn't to be, so we did have Mahrez. So I think we ended up playing the same team as the Borussia Mönchengladbach, and it's quite interesting that, because when I was looking at my team sheets and pass ratings, etc., I looked at the Borussia Mönchengladbach, and that was my sort of starting point for this team. So I was almost right, wasn't I? I just thought Zinchenko would be thrown in there because he do likes him from time to time. Hey, but there you go. Yeah, so obviously we had Mahrez, didn't we, coming in. Pre-match social media talk. Yeah, Stephen McInerney did better than me. He got, oh, great team. He called it, apparently. But yeah, he probably just looked at the Borussia Mönchengladbach lineup and reiterated that like I did. But I was trying to be smart, wasn't I? But there you go. Well done, Stephen, anyway. He said he was dead happy with that. Maybe 1 or 2 arguable changes, but it's more than good enough. It certainly should have been. Mainly positive generally on the Twitterverse and Facebook. Simon Bukowski on Twitter probably summed it up pretty well at SPBAJKO. A sign of what a weird season this has been, that the overwhelming response to this team is brilliant. Finally, Guardiola hasn't overthought it. Let's see what he does in a few days' time, eh? Match summation and stats. Here we go with Phil Banerjee's goal reports added into this. First 45 minutes, 7 minutes, they brought out a save from Edison. I wasn't happy with the save. I thought he perhaps could have collected it. I think he sort of more or less knew he was palming it out into a safe area, but I wasn't very happy with that. I thought he perhaps should have done a little bit better and caught that one. But anyway, that was the first bloody nose for City from Dortmund. But the second bloody nose was Dortmund, wasn't it? Because we'll go over to Phil Banerjee for this one. City took the lead in the 19th minute. Mahrez intercepted Emre Can, who can't. Loose pass in midfield. De Bruyne drove forward at pace and found the advancing Foden down the left. Foden's cross eluded everyone. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest cross. Mahrez stopped it before he went out. Yeah, he did very well and timed his cutback perfectly for De Bruyne to drill across the keeper at the near post. So it was 1-0. Great goal. 24 minutes, yeah, Rodri was bearing down on goal. Unfortunately, it was our goal he was bearing down on. And then he passes it to a Dortmund player. I have no idea what he was doing there, but we fortunately did get away with that one. You remember that one, though? It was great. It was like the old Yaya. Trouble is, he was going the wrong way, Rodri. Rodri was down, wasn't he, as though he'd been shot on the 29th minute. And, of course, a check on the pitch-side monitor, which had to go back. He went away and looked again and come back and looked again. And I think my stream sort of repeated itself, or he kept doing it. I'm not too sure, but anyway, after about 4 minutes it was reversed, wasn't it? But did he make contact? It wasn't convincing, was it? So did he have enough to change his mind? I don't think so. So really, to be honest with you, I think the penalty perhaps should have stood, because he probably did catch his knee. I know he went down like he'd been shot holding his face, but was that pain? I don't know, but we know Rodri's got previous. As soon as he went down, I knew there was nothing in it when Rodri went down anyway. But hey, there you go. Anyway, it got reversed, didn't it? So did they get away with that one? Could have done, possibly. I mean, there's plenty of histrionics about us getting away with stuff, wasn't there? 37 minutes, Ederson tries some fancy footwork. This is talking about getting away with things, but gets a foul. And in all honesty, it was him that kicked Bellingham, wasn't it? Who actually put the ball in the net, but the ref had actually blown before the ball had crossed the line, so they couldn't VAR it. And I'm fairly sure it would have been allowed as a goal if they had done. I have no idea, just too casual. Mr. Ederson. He made up for it a couple of times, some okay saves, but that could have been disastrous just before, 8 minutes before half time, 1-1. They would have been up for it then. But yeah, we did get away with that one. I think his foot was high, but I mean, I know European referees don't like a foot being very high, but it wasn't that high, was it? Let's be honest. If that was that, then obviously the guy in the other end for Rodri should have been a penalty as well. So yeah, we did get away with it. Perhaps it evened it out. 45 minutes of poor effort by Mahrez, and then a blocked Gundogan shot sort of fell into the goalkeeper's arm just on the stroke of half time. Just 1 minute injury time. I mean, the VAR check took about 4 minutes, so I have no idea where just 1 minute came from. Very lucky to go in at 1-0 up. I said at half time, I wrote down here at half time, we need to improve. They are strolling through our lack of midfield. Yeah, we didn't have any meat in there. We didn't have a Terminator in there, did we? We know what we were talking about, don't we? And they were sort of strolling through and exposing our defence a little bit. I did say they looked very dangerous on the break, and they certainly did, because they say they just like a butter through knife, hot butter through knife, hot butter through knife, a knife through hot knife through butter. There you go, something like that. There you go. My apologies. Getting through our midfield, and they say we're exposing our defence all the time, and the ref is having a mare role, which is probably about right. Half time, obviously. 1-0. We'll take that. Let's improve second half. 48 minutes, Haaland out muscles Diaz. That was unbelievable. But obviously he still was off balance, Haaland. So his shot was saved by Edison, but perhaps he could have done a bit better if he wasn't off balance. But reminds me a bit of the Phil Foden thing, trying to stay up and falling over. But yeah, Diaz, sorry mate, you got... you got well muscled. You Godzilla versus King Kong. I'm afraid our little King Kong Diaz got beat up a little bit there, didn't he? 58 minutes, Jesus was on. Bernardo was off. Yeah, shame. He was okay. He just wasn't getting involved, was he? 65 minutes, Foden should have done better with a KDB layback. I mean, Foden, probably talking a hat-trick, aren't we? 65 minutes, Diaz almost gave it away from a suicide back pass, but fortunately Dortmund player got a toe to it, but not enough, and it fell through to Edison, fortunately. But again, Mr. Diaz, yeah, I'm not too sure. Diaz and Rodri, I'm not 100% about them last night, but more on that in the player ratings anyway. 76 minutes, a good strong run by KDB. Had elements of, yeah, it's like a Yaya Toure a couple of times, wasn't he? Sort of picked up that ball in the sort of halfway line and barges his way through, and but he just pulled it wide of the post on that one on 76 minutes. 77 minutes, Foden was free on the left, wasn't he? And rather than take it on a little bit, which, you know, people like Sterling would have probably done, or looked for someone to pass to, he sort of shot first time, and it was a reasonably easy save for the keeper, which is a bit disappointing. Perhaps he could have done a little bit more with that and could have took it a bit further. 80 minutes, of course, Foden jinks into the box superbly, didn't he? Fantastic move, and all it needed was to be finished off, and he put it wide. So again, he's talking a hat-trick already, even before that late chance. But then, obviously, Dortmund equalised, didn't they? Against the run of play a little bit. I think Haaland had missed out on a potential long ball that sort of fell for us at you know, just basically a big punt up, and he sort of missed contact with it. But it wasn't long after Dortmund equalised. Back to Phil Banerjee. Dortmund equalised in the 84th minute. A beautifully constructed goal it was. The highly impressive Bellingham's feinted away from Gundogan in midfield and played a ball forward. Roos latched onto Haaland's round the corner flick and steered the ball inside Ederson's left-hand post. City, though, looked determined despite this the lack of time left, didn't they, after this goal? So thanks, Phil, for that. Yeah, I was confident. It's funny, isn't it? I felt a little bit confident. I didn't feel that down, actually. I thought we would go up and score. And, of course, back to Phil again. City's persistence was rewarded in the 90th minute. So not long after, De Bruyne has played a terrific diagonal pass. It was Gundogan, who I thought perhaps might have been a little bit offside, but he certainly wasn't. Controlled it and laid it back off for Foden, who steered it low past hits the goalkeeper to make it 2-1. So, yeah, I was quite right in my thoughts, wasn't it? I mean, Phil goes on to say it's a measure of how much Foden cares that it looked like he'd lost a £50 note and found a fiver. He did. He knew he could have had more goals, but his outlook is impressive, mature, and one that bodes well for the future. Yeah, shows character, that, doesn't it? 3 minutes injury time. Yeah, I was hoping we might nick another, but it wasn't to be. It was quite a drab 3 minutes injury time again. Not over the top with injury time. So full time 2-1. I'll give my conclusions, of course, in a moment on that, on the game, City and Dortmund. Thanks for Phil for his goal reports, and please check out his full comprehensive match reports that are usually on Facebook. He's in various groups, but obviously if you look up Phil Banerjee, fantastic, and have a look at his ratings as well, but we'll talk about them in a minute. Ref watch, yeah, I'm not even giving him a rating. I thought it was awful. I thought it was absolutely unworthy of a mark, so I've not bothered giving the ref a rating for last night. I thought he was pretty abysmal for both teams, even though, as I say, I think generally we perhaps got away with it more than they did, but no, not very impressed. Match stats, shots 11 for City with 5 on target, 7 for Dortmund with 3 on target. We had 62% possession, which was okay. Passes 704 for City, 446 for Dortmund. Completion 90%. I thought that was higher than I thought, actually. I thought it'd be a little in the 80s. I thought it'd be about 87-88%, but had a pass completion rate of 90%, probably because of that good showing in the second half, I would have thought. Dortmund was 85%, which wasn't bad. Corners just 4 for City, 2 for Dortmund. Fouls 9 by City, 8 for Dortmund, although I think it was Dortmund got a couple of players booked, didn't they? I think we escaped last night without anyone getting booked. Right, player ratings, here we go. Simon Bukowski for the Evening News first. My starting rating is going to be 6.5. So if I think they did better, they'll get higher. If I think they had a good, steady, okay game, they'll get 6.5. And if they didn't have a fantastic game and they perhaps let us down just a little bit, they'll get less than 6.5. So Bukowski's rating. Things first, descriptions first, his rating, and then I'll give you mine. Right, Ederson, here we go. An unforgivably lax moment in the first half that should have given Bellingham an equaliser. Decent saves from Bellingham and Haaland went some way to making up for it, but could have done better for the goal. And I don't think so. I think that goal was just a good goal. I don't think anyone, defensive-wise, Walker got a bit of a stick off someone as well. I don't think Walker could have done that much. I thought it was just a well-worked goal, and you have to accept that. It's giving 5, yeah. Yeah, it's funny this. Yeah, I've given him 5.5. I've given him a point less. I mean, I'm not going to blame him for the goal. And yes, he did make a couple of good saves, but that goal that he nearly let in was such a crucial time. Well, he did let in, didn't he? We just got away with it, basically. So I've only given him a 5.5, and I do love Ederson, but he was far too cool. He looks calm, and he is calm, but sometimes that calmness results in him making a bit of a mess of it. So, yeah, he's got to know when to look calm and when to just panic and welly it. That's the difference. That's the skill he needs to learn very, very quickly, and he's not sort of learnt that over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Walker, Bellingham got the better of him early on, but after this he was excellent. Manning pace and experience to masterful effect. Played some good balls into the box that number 9 may have buried. Lost Roos for the goal, though. So, yeah, he's playing all right. He lost Roos, but as I say, it was such a good move. I mean, defenders can't do every. You know, we can look at Diaz on his bum when Haaland was round. It's just one of those things. Simon's giving him 6. I'm going to give Walker the standard 6.5. I think it was just good goals team score. I can't blame him for that. And he did a lot of hard work. He didn't look as though, he had a few little crosses that didn't go to anyone. But no, I'll give him a 6.5. Simon give him a 6. Stones looked composed, even his teammates around him stuttered and dealt well with the Haaland, almost like his England gaff was a one-off and not part of his inescapable cycle of doom. So he's given him a 7. Yeah, I'll give him half a point more. I'll give him a 7 as well. He wasn't fazed by a lively Dortmund. I don't think he's another one. He's a bit like Edison. Looks quite calm, but then that calmness can turn into a bit of trouble. But fortunately, not last night. Diaz a rare moment of mortality when Haaland put him on the floor and raced in on goal. Struggled for fluency, also offered help, but lucky to get away with a back pass. Too little on it. Yeah, it was his back pass, was it? 6 is give Diaz, Simon. I've only given Diaz 5.5. I'd noticed 1 or 2 other things as well. Not really on his game. Not for the first time for me for the last couple of months either. He's not, I know he's getting rave reviews and I do love him to bits, but he's not. But I don't think he's been at his best his last sort of 10 games. Perhaps he's playing too much, I'm not too sure, but anyway, we need him at his best, don't we? So I'll give him a 5.5. I wasn't overly impressed with Diaz. I'm sorry, Ruben, don't pick on me. I'll set Haaland on you if you start. Right, Cancelo, Dortmund had done their own work and kept him pegged back as part of the defence, with Walker pushing up instead. Some useful interventions. Yeah, he's give Cancelo a 7. I'll give him a 6.5. I thought it was all right, but I didn't really see him that much, and I really wanted him to be a bit more involved. As I say, he can only do what he's allowed to do, but then perhaps he should change. Perhaps Pep should change his position a little bit. I don't know. So I'll give him a 6.5. Simon give him a 7. Rodri, a busy evening with Dortmund breaking quickly, but he adapted well to limit the threats of the opposition and also contributed to City's attacks. I give him a 7. I wasn't impressed again with Rodri last night. A big, unexciting, bang average game I put here. Lost half a point for being a tart in the penalty area with that non-penalty. So I mean. Yeah, I've only given him a 6. Yeah, man up, Rodri, but it's not the first time I've had to say that. Simon gave him a 7. Gundogan dropped deeper than he often does to help Rodri out. Yeah, so Rodri had such a good game. Gundogan was having to help him out all the time. A tidy evening against his former employers, even if he wasn't involved in any of the flashpoints. So he's given a 7. Yeah, I'll give Gundogan a 7. A better second half, which most of the City players had. Great control for the assist, of course. The first touch and then the lay back. But the first half, like a lot of City players, sort of passed him by just a little bit, I thought. De Bruyne, so yeah, 7 from Simon, 7 from me. De Bruyne, the goal that Guardiola cheekily called for at Leicester, and he was at the heart of everything good that City did. An excellent display from the skipper. So he's given him a 9. Yeah, I'm not going to go as mad as that. I'll give him a good 8.5 though. Like a machine, wasn't he, running in midfield? And added to that machine was some quality footwork as well. So 9 from Simon, 8.5 from me. Mahrez did enough to justify his conclusion ahead of Sterling. Calmly picked out De Bruyne for the goal and working well with Walker on the right. He's given him a 7. Yeah, I'll give him a 7, even though, as I say, I was a bit disappointed with his first half thing, but he certainly did look better the second half and was a bit more of an outlet. So yeah, I'll give him a 7 as well, and Simon give him a 7. Foden, a quiet first half. Still managed to be involved for the goal. Really thrived as Dortmund legs tired in the final half hour. Got the late winner. He's given him an 8, Foden. Yeah, I'll give him a 7.5. I'll give him a point extra. Could have had 3 or 4, but kept going and showed great character to calmly score, didn't he? Bernardo pressing from the opening seconds, leading the line regularly in the strikerless formation. Struggled to get involved in attacks. Dortmund was the first to be withdrawn. He certainly was. He's given him a 6. Yeah, I'm going to give him the average. I'm going to give him 6.5. I don't think we can have too much of a downer on him. He played most of the first half and, like most of the team, just a little bit out of sorts. So I'll give him the average. I'm not going to mark him down for last night. Jesus for Bernardo, 58 minutes. Yeah, he came on quite early. The team looked better when he came on, giving them fresh structure. Yeah, so he gave him a 7 again. I've just given the standard 6.5. He worked hard, as I say. He did add something to it, but just a standard thing. Phil Banerjee scores. Here we go. Edison 8. Yeah, I don't know. Not too sure on that one, Phil. Walker 6, Stones 6, Diaz 6, Cancelo 6, Bernardo 7, Jesus gets a 7, Rodri 6, Gundogan 7, Mahrez 7, De Bruyne 9, and Foden 7. Well, I think we all agree on De Bruyne, don't we? Man of the match. Yeah, I think there's some people have had Foden as man of the match. Not particularly. My City's a man of the match on a day when a few City players didn't quite impress. He looked a bit scared and nervy to me, which doesn't bode well when you've got semi-finals and potential finals coming up, does it? But yeah, it's obviously KDB, isn't it? The image is up there. Of course, KDB is going to get man of the match. Quirky stats, here we go, up to Joe. Including finals, this will be Pep Guardiola's 60th game as a manager in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Only Carlo Ancelotti has managed more, 62, although Guardiola already has the most knockout stage victories, 31 in the competition. Let's have a few more, mate. Following De Bruyne's opener, Manchester City have now scored 18 goals since they last conceded in the Champions League. No, well, we did. The longest run of unanswered goals in the competition's history, so obviously it's going to stay at 18, isn't it, unfortunately? Since their first season in the Champions League in 2011-12, no team has scored more 90th minute goals than Manchester City. That's a good one. 17, level with Real Madrid. Fantastic. Phil Foden is the third youngest Englishman to score in a Champions League quarter-final, behind only Alan Smith in 2001 for Leeds, 20 years, 158 days, and Theo Walcott in 2009 for Arsenal, 20 years, 30 days. City, Man City have never failed to score in a home Champions League fixture under Pep, last failing to score at home in Manuel Pellegrini's final home game in the competition. 5 of Man City's last 15 goals in all competitions have been netted by Kevin De Bruyne. Probably gone down a little bit, won't it, after the Foden goal, so that'll be slightly lower now. Phil Foden has now scored 27 goals for City in all competitions, the same amount that Samir Nasri managed for the club, but in 64 fewer appearances. That's not bad going, is it? Right, conclusion, here we go. Dortmund, yeah, they're struggling. They're struggling in the Bundesliga, but perhaps more because of this new manager situation. It's a strange thing knowing you've got a new manager coming. I mean, I suppose we've been in a similar position, but not quite obvious, have we? But yeah, so it has been a weird sort of season. I thought they played really well tonight. They had a lot of confidence. They've lost games in the Bundesliga where they've sort of dominated teams as well. They certainly didn't dominate this, certainly in the second half. I think they perhaps did slightly in the first half, perhaps not on possession, but on chances and scariness, they certainly did. But I thought they were definitely the better team in the first half, and they should at least been going in at half-time 1-1, I think, at least. If we say we may have upped our game once they'd equalised, who knows, but there we go. And they're definitely one of the best sides we've played this season, despite the struggling in the Bundesliga. And some people say the Bundesliga is a bit of a farmers' league, so perhaps not so much if they can put in performances like that. Imagine I wouldn't want to be playing teams like that every week, week in, week out in the Premier League, that's for sure. I'm sure they'll play with confidence next week. There's no reason why they shouldn't, and they will be disappointed, although it's not a total letdown for them. And I think the confidence will be high. But there we go, move on to City. I think similarly, slightly disappointing, but not a total letdown. After looking out of sorts in that first half, certainly we should have used that goal on 19 minutes as a platform to perhaps get another 1 or 2, which we really needed. We didn't really push on, did we? Better finishing, perhaps a striker or two. You know, let's have a striker, or could have put that game to bed a little bit. City did dominate large chunks all the second half, and this is where we should have perhaps put the game beyond Dortmund for the second leg, but obviously Foden perhaps was the main culprit in that. But there we go. It is against these good, efficient teams. Let's face it, they are a good, efficient team where our midfielders need to take the chances, and we know from history, we know from this season, our conversion rate is not good. You know, we do need a lot of chances to score goals, and this is where it becomes crucial now. This is the sharp end. This is where we need to do it. I mean, for City to go on and win this title without a competent number 9 up front, put it that way, I mean, will be some achievement in my opinion. I still dream of a fitting finale for Sergio to come back firing, even just for a handful of games, just to be a bit like the old Sergio. And even as sometimes, if he'd been played a little bit more, sometimes played Delap, all right, he's in the first team squad next season, but I think he could have been there this season. I think he's played, he could have made a difference. He could make a difference, Delap, but we haven't got it. It is what it is, as they say, isn't it? So we'll have to worry about the second leg when it comes. So it's sort of one game at a time. Sweet Jesus, isn't it, at the moment? But there you go. We've got next week. Can we keep a clean sheet? Possibly. Should be able to score again, definitely. I expect a tight game. Thankfully, 1 goal should be enough. I mean, but I thought that, 4 years ago when we took 2 goals to Monaco, and we sort of messed that up a little bit. But things are different now, aren't they? Hopefully. But I think the main problem is, will Pep be happy? I don't think Pep will be happy with that. I'm sure he won't. I'm sure he had a bit of a dressing down for that team, although the second half performance, as I said, was very, very good. The first half, I thought, was mainly poor, apart from sort of perhaps a 10 and 15-minute chunks. And ironically, we were far better in the second half, and it was 1-1 really, the second half, wasn't it? Although it should have been 1-1 the first half, shouldn't it? Yeah, so we were actually much better in that second half. As I said, the Dortmund goal was excellent. I'm not going to blame anyone for that. Good team score, good goals, and that in my opinion, was a good goal, so I'm not going to blame anyone particularly for that. But I think the main thing that this highlights, apart from the striker option, which is, say, we're going to have to put up and shut up with that, aren't we? The main thing that we do lack is that midfield guile protecting the defence. We know Fernandinho's the ideal guy. We know he's if he'd played and been booked tonight, he would have missed the second leg anyway, because I think he was on a yellow card. So perhaps Pep thought of that and might just put him in against Dortmund away. I think because we needed something there, and the players we've got. I mean, no offence to difference to say Rodri, etc. He's not that sort of player. We look a little bit of a soft underbelly. We don't protect our defenders that much, and we do need someone. If we can get him to stay another year, fantastic. But I think if we only buy one player this close season, obviously I think we made a loss, didn't we, on this season? I think the latest figures I've seen, if we only buy one player, I don't think it's a left back. All right, we need a striker, but we've got Delap next season, haven't we? We perhaps might scrape through again. But yeah, we need someone to replace Fernandinho. We need someone with his guile and skill, someone there. I know there won't be another Fernandinho out there, but we need a bit of a Terminator in that middle, don't we? I think we do, and I say we've got Diaz at the back as our Terminator, but I think those defenders need a little bit of help sometimes, a little bit of cover, and we just didn't, it showed up last night, we just didn't get it. So I think that's what we need to do. Anyway, we've got the second leg to come, haven't we? So we'll see how it goes. But I think Ferner might be back for that one. What do you think? Anyway, let me know in your comments. What do you think of that? And what do you think of the player ratings, etc.? Please let me know what you thought of last night's game, etc. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks for putting up with this 26, 27 minutes. I think overall we deserved the win. But the second leg will be a good one, certainly for the neutral. Won't be good for me. I know I'm in the work the next day, so I don't think I'll be getting much sleep that night, unfortunately. But it'll be a good one for the neutral, won't it? But let's hope it's enough. Let's hope it's enough to get us through. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back, of course, with a preview of the Leeds game due out on Friday the 9th of April. So push that notification button if you want to know when that's coming out. I will have a That Was the Week That Was. That'll be out hopefully tomorrow as I'm doing this. That'll be out on Thursday the 8th of April, looking back at the Leicester and Dortmund games. A bit of fun, bit of spot the ball, bit of guess the player, a bit of shirt maths, etc, etc. And there will be a little thing on City versus Ipswich coming out on the 11th of April, semi-final. So that'll probably come out on the 9th or 10th. So that a little look back at that. I was there that day at Villa Park. Quite a good day. I was saying about the final, but we're not talking about the final. We'll talk about the semi-final against Ipswich. So join me for that. And there's a little thing with the Leeds game coming up on the 1992 Leeds game as well. So all these will be in the link. So please check that out as well as I look back to the 1992 demolition of Leeds by City, who we were going for the title then. So we did our neighbours across the road a favour. Have a look at that as well. Anyway, thanks for joining me for this big match analysis. Whatever you're going to do there, stay. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other till we meet here again on the Citizen channel, or perhaps have a flick across. Have a look at my film and TV channel. Have a look at stuff on there. Whatever it is, please. All I ever ask is stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.